Hello everyone, we are one day away from the release of the new raid for Witch Queen, Vow of the Disciple. If you've been following Destiny Online, you've known it's been a crazy few weeks leading up to the release of this raid because a large amount of it has already been leaked online. We know everything from the armor to the raid boss and even how many encounters there's going to be, which is 5. But one thing that we don't know is the raid mechanic, which arguably is the most important thing. So in this video, I'll give you some last minute theories on what I think the raid mechanic is going to be. So first off, to kind of guess what the raid is going to be, let's take a look at these new emblems that Bungie has released that might give us a hint. So in both of these emblems, we could see a pyramid, of course, because that's where the raid is taking place. And we see these dark suns, which are mentioned throughout the triumphs for the raid. And I'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about the more interesting thing, which is a rainbow. And at first glance, it might seem odd that something so colorful would be featured on an emblem for the first ever Darkness raid. But if you think about it, it makes sense. You just have to see the what we're doing with the raid, which is we have the light, aka 6 guardians, entering a prism, aka the pyramid. And what happens in real life when light enters a prism? You get refraction, which causes a rainbow. So the emblem itself is kind of symbolic of us entering the raid. But I'm going to go a step further and say that refraction is actually going to be the raid mechanic. Because earlier this week I glitched into the raid map, like a lot of other YouTubers did, and I went around exploring. I actually have a 20-minute video of uncut footage if you'd like to see it. I'll put it in the description of me exploring the raid area. And in that raid area, you can see several prisms on top of these pyramids, and they're up in high spots. And I believe that we're going to have to funnel some type of light through those prisms in order to open the pyramid. Think kind of like how in Garden of Salvation you had to tether to open up gates. I think that's what we're going to do, but with these prisms in the pyramid raid. If you need another visual to what I might be alluding to, you could picture that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where Indiana Jones has to take this crystal and put it in the exact spot for the sunlight to shine through and open it up. I feel like that kind of makes sense for what we're doing, going into a tomb basically for this darkness entity. And so this might only actually be the first encounters mechanic. It might change, but I feel like it kind of makes sense of the light entering the pyramid. These emblems also allude to another thing that might be in the raid, which they refer to as the Dark Sun. We have the raid badge emblem having a picture of a sun with the tree as well, but I'll get to that. And then we have a ghost shell called Imperious Sun that comes from the raid. And the emblem that you get for beating it just on normal is called Light of the Black Sun. So there's going to be some sort of sun, maybe raid boss, maybe mechanic. From the story of Witch Queen, we know that the darkness can move and abduct planets like how they did with Mars and Io and Titan and other planets in our solar system. So what's to say the darkness can't uh, abduct a sun, and maybe that there is a sun like trapped in this pyramid that the darkness tried to seal away, and that could possibly be a mechanic or maybe even a wipe mechanic. If you don't do something right, the sun will ignite and kill you. And then the last bit of symbology that we have with these raid emblems and badges is this white tree. And my first instinct was to think of the Tree of Silver Wings, which is a thing in Destiny lore that's been hinted at for a long time until we finally got it in Season of Arrivals when we actually saw the tree and got to interact with it. But this tree looks very different than this Tree of Silver Wings. It's very skinny, it has a lot of branches that kind of end in like a round shape. And I immediately thought of the Glycon plants that we encountered in that mission and how they were darkness kind of flora that was linked to the darkness directly, so it could only grow in darkness. But those were dark as well, they weren't light like this emblem, so maybe we'll be encountering the light equivalent of that plant, and that plant might be trying to grow in the pyramid, trying to cleanse it from Savathun's throne world. Anyways, those are just some of my thoughts and predictions. We'll see tomorrow if they come true or not. And if you're planning on doing it day one, I wish you luck. I know I'll be doing it. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a good one.